Thanks, Bob. It is now 21 minutes past the hour of 6 o'clock. Phone lines this morning, Billings Police Chief St. John. Good morning, sir. How are we doing this morning?
Good morning, Scott. Doing well. How about you?
Great to talk a little bit about the carjacking on Sunday. The victim was identified yesterday as 81-year-old William Joy. He used to be the Bighorn County Sheriff and is the father to Councilperson Denise Joy. Bring us up to speed on what's happening on that so far, sir.
Just a tragedy of epic proportions. We have a carjacking that has gone terribly bad. Our suspect there, his name is Donald Gray from North Carolina. He'd been in Billings for about a week. He was a transient and was looking to get back home, and his intent was to steal a car or carjack a vehicle and go back to North Carolina. He waited outside of the post office there at 15th and Wyoming and happened to pick Mr. Joy as his victim, forced his way into the car. They drove over to an area by Lewis and Clark Middle School. Some sort of struggle took place, and ultimately Mr. Gray stabbed Mr. Joy and killed him. Completely unrelated, one of our officers stopped Mr. Gray for a traffic violation and did an absolute wonderful job sorting through lies and stories, detecting some of the blood evidence that was in the car, and was ultimately made an arrest for what we call obstructing, and that's for lying to us. And then on the way to the jail, a little bit later, Mr. Gray gave a confession. So, had our officer not, took those actions and been attentive to the details and sorting through stuff, there's a good chance that he would have got away. It would have been much harder to solve this.
Let's talk about the knife that the Billings Police Department is asking the public for help on.
Yeah, we're missing the knife that was allegedly used in this, black-handled metal blade, serrated edge, I believe. We have general areas where we know Mr. Gray was at, and so we're asking the public if they're out and about, happen to see this, laying somewhere. We do believe he discarded it. To give us a call. Don't touch it. It is critical for evidence. Give us a call, we'll come and collect that. But we believe it's out there somewhere, and we're just hoping that the public will come upon and give us a call.
You were down in Wyoming this past week. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, quarterly, the executive board for Rocky Mountain HIDA, which is our four-state drug traffic task force, we meet usually in Denver. That's where the headquarters is, but they moved the meeting to Cheyenne. So we convened down there Monday, Tuesday, talked about trends, things that are going on, things to be looking for. Basically, this one was a budget meeting for the four states, some of the strategies on what we're going to do in this upcoming fiscal year. Like Montana, the other states had a visit from Attorney General Sessions, so there was a discussion about the messages that he had for the respective areas. And then just some information sharing. So, again, it's a quarterly meeting. We're very, very pleased to be part of that task force. And, it helps us in our drug enforcement efforts. And as you see, it's a pretty big push with our U.S. attorney here in conjunction with Project Safe Neighborhood. So it's a great, great partnership.
Let's talk about 5 Billings police officers that were honored last week in Bozeman.
Yeah, it was... the Montana Association of Chiefs of Police, in conjunction with the State Association, has their convention yearly in June. And at the culmination of that week of training and speakers is the awards banquet for officers that statewide have been recognized for acts of valor, bravery, honor-type activities. They recognize citizens. And we had 5 officers there. 4 of them were for life-saving, and 1 received a Medal of Valor. So it's really nice to have our officers recognized for all the great work that goes on, and these in particular by chiefs and administrators from around the state.
And I also want to thank you. Last week, you invited me to the Billings Police Barn to watch the canine demonstration. A couple new dogs and everything like that. How important is this program to the Billings PD?
Well, a canine program is a great tool for us in a couple respects, and as you remember, we have gone with a two-pronged approach with our canine program. We have a couple dogs that are just detection only. So they are relegated to detecting drugs, which you know is one of the biggest problems that we have around here. The other dogs are what we call patrol dogs. So not only can they do detection, but they also can track and do aggression work. And so that helps us in the patrol function. For example, if we have to search a building or track somebody that's out, running from us. So again, tools in the toolbox. I think you saw they're very attached to their handlers. They have great command and control over them, and it's quite a spectacle to watch them work.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on this morning, Chief.
You bet, Scott. Thank you.
Chief St. John this morning as the News Talk 730's KYYA's Morning Wake Up Report continues this morning.